Hi everybody and welcome to day 19 in December Daily. I have a full page photo to work with today of my daughter and her boyfriend out ice skating. There's quite a pink hue to this photo, but I don't mind that because there is quite a lot of pink in my album already. And then we also have this really cute soft pastel green which features on the Make Merry papers, which I have quite a few still printed. So I'm a little uncertain which way to go with this page. I have got the back of this shaker pocket to work with, so that's over here at the moment. So I could just put a sentiment card on here and be done with that kind of space, or I could include that for my journaling, title, all sorts. Let me just get this back over here in the album. I am going to be bringing in this collection again, the Make Merry, because of the reasons I said, the pink, and particularly I think this paper. And my original, or maybe this one, I like that one because of the stars, they feel like frost, although this one is snowy, which is definitely not going to be snowy here this winter or this December, so I think I might work with this. So what I was toying with the idea of was a kind of open page, so 2 triangles of pattern paper, so imagining this stitched down here but then cut, so it's actually a triangle of paper. So you've got kind of this, if you like, of the pattern on both sides that you would open to reveal on the inside the journaling and the title and whatnot. So I think I'm going to give that a little go. I'm not sure whether it will work or not. So another option is actually working with acetate for one half of this. Yeah, I've got the design idea in my mind, but I'm not sure if it's going to work. So what I might do is first cut the first triangle out of a different pattern paper, just in case it doesn't work, even though these are printable. Actually, they're printable. I'll just go with this one. Yeah, so I'm going to measure this up, trim this triangle down, work with the back of it for the other triangle, and then come back to you before I go over to my sewing machine so I can see if this is actually going to work. Okay, so I've trimmed this. How I did that was I took it over to the trimmer, and that was whole. I turned it on rotated it so that both corners were lined up with my cutting line, and then just trimmed. So what my intention is, what my vision is to have this scored as well. So a score, this stitched with that score, and then a different pattern over here, the same stitch and score, and they will sit like this so that then it will fold open to reveal the photo, and then on this side journaling, pattern, whatnot. So that's the vision. And another option was just going to be that I use this, but I think I like the idea of the pattern. Yeah, I really like that. So I'm going to find a different pattern that's going to work in with this and go from there. I have these from In a Creative Bubble, and I had toyed, this was another idea, was rather than this flip open, was to trim these out and have these adhered on here with other baubles, but I'm not going to do that. I really like the look of this flip, so I just need a different pattern to work with that's going to really complement the hues of the pink, and I think it might be that one. Yeah, I think it's going to be that one. Unfortunately, this one trimmed with a little bit of white along the bottom, so I'm just going to trim that off, and I am conscious that that might affect my triangle, but that's okay. I can work with it. And then, is this the same width? It is. So I want this side to be the pattern. So it's just a case of rotating this around top and bottom to get it lined up, knowing that my trimmer often offsets a little bit, so it will be that. Cute. Doesn't matter that it doesn't reach right to the end, because that is going to be there. Oh, that is really cute. Reaches up to the top, which is what matters. Fantastic. So then that will fold out, that will fold out, and then I'm toying with the idea of actually just sticking these on the back, which I think will be good. Yeah, I'm going to do that, and then somehow add my journaling either here or over here. So I could add a title, something like that. Yeah, and then another idea I had was maybe some kind of like a circle on the top. I've used this design before. If you imagine, this would be like this. Let's say a circle here that's adhered to the pink, so that would open like that. Yeah, or even a heart. Cute. Okay, so let me go and find a few other supplies and then start sticking and stitching this down. Okay, I'm going to do a little light bit of adhesive right close to the edge, not running this all the way through because I don't want to gum up my sewing machine too much. Lining it up along the edge and particularly at the bottom. And then the same over here with the pink. I've punched some holes just because I need to bear that in mind. So I wanted them there from the outset. Pink on the top, I think, but I can change it around when it's going. And then score the fold. So I'm thinking 1/2 inch in will probably be enough. Yeah. Just working with the cutting mat to get that 1/2 inch. A score and a fold. Is that going to be right? Yeah. Same here, lining this up on the cutting mat, finding that 1/2 inch. I mean, I haven't even got to stitch this, to be honest. I could have gone with just the adhesive, but I have got my sewing machine out. Oh, I have got my sewing machine out still. There we go. So probably, as I said, pink on the top. This I might trim off when I've decided which one's going to go on the top. I think it's going to be pink, but I'm not going to do any trimming for now, so I'm just going to kind of fold that in. Next, remembering the holes, so keeping these punched so that when I go over to my sewing machine, I either messy stitch around the holes, which is something I like to do, or risk it and stitch through the holes. Okay. And I'm still thinking about the idea of having that there, so it's stuck to the pink. Yeah, I do want the pink on the top, so let's work out where I need to trim this. Fold it for now, trim it in a bit. There we go. I'm not sure whether that is the right thing or whether to punch. I like the border on it though. I don't have a foiling machine. What they called a mink. I don't have a mink. Could bring in something like this one. Let me decide what's going to go on there first. Right, I've taken this over to the sewing machine and stitched down each of those sides. So this is what it's going to look like. I've opted to stick this on just with some adhesive, and then I have taken those offcuts and trimmed them down to fit so that the insides of the flaps are have got pattern as well. My husband has arrived home, so that makes recording a little trickier because there's going to be, oh, I knew that was going to go. I think I might just use another tape runner for that last strip because I really want to get this done before he arrives. So I've trimmed these, I lined them up with the diagonal and the point and made a mark and then trimmed off the excess so that this, because they were a little bit wider, I didn't need to put it through the sewing machine. This is going to be a little bit tricky to line up on camera, so I'm going to just turn the camera off so I can get my head right at the top to line this all up. Okay, there we have it. Really, really cute. And then on here, I am going to put my number when I've decided what number I'm working with. And I'm going to bring in some die cuts. So I have this piece here, which is the only big blue one I have. I've got a little bit of it torn off, which I hadn't noticed, but that's okay. And then layering up, I think, a bauble like this, possibly something like that there to hide the tear, or maybe my number. But I'm only going to be adhering this to the white so that it looks like it's adhered down, but then it will be that flip open. And then I'm just going to go and pull in some cards, journal cards, or maybe layer up a load of labels so that I can write. I've got a lot of these printed and cut, so I can kind of layer these, I think, in here to hold my journaling, things like that. So I'm going to have a little bit of creative play with this off camera because of household busyness. And let me just quickly look. This is day 19. This is day 19. So what colour is the little tag? It's green, so I'm not going to work with the little tag. That's okay. So I'll be bringing in stickers or alphas for my number. And then I was toying with the idea I might put one of these as a title somewhere. But I'm going to do a little bit of that off camera and then come on and show you what it looks like at the end. Just going to assemble the rest with you here. I've got my journaling written onto one of the 3x4 cards that I've trimmed into a tag, and that's adhered to that inside flap. Then here I have a title card, which I'm going to bring in over on the inside of this other one, layering them up so that the angle of the tag matches nicely with the angle of the flip. And then on this side, I'm going to bring in another one of these baubles to hang down, and also a floral just to decorate the back of that white circle there. Bring it in. I mean, not going to see that angle now, but never mind. Bring that in over here so that the white circle actually becomes a holding space for that. And then this can dangle down here like this. Very cute. I have more of those. Could bring in these or a blue one. Gonna bring this pinky one in. This one doesn't have that ribbon dangling from it, so that's quite cute to bring in here. And pop it underneath that one though. Can I? That doesn't work. Is this one too big? I want one with the ribbon. Bring that in, and then I'll just trim that bit of string off. You can see it from the other side. That's cute. Lots of embellishment, but you can't really see it because it's all on the inside, and we have this really clean peekaboo page. And then I may, where am I? I have this little section here which I could add something to, like that joy. Could stick that there, look, you wouldn't see it. And I have got this word festive, but I think you're going to see that and I don't want that. Could just have festive. I'm going to leave it blank. But I am going to bring in this to have the date, not the date, sorry, the location. I know it was in Cheltenham, but I don't know where, so I'm going to have to ask Laura for that info. And then this will get layered up underneath the baubles. I'm going to have to lift them, hopefully not tear them. Layer that underneath and back over the top. So I'll add my place on there. And then for my number, I have a wood veneer 19, which I have embossed. This is going to need some red line tape to adhere this down, which I'll do off camera. That's the only thing I'm going to do. So it's going to be this adhered onto there, and then this will be the page. Really, really cute, really sweet, and very, very happy with it. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I've given you some ideas of a different page that you could include in your album. I have got this still on the left hand side to put something on, but I'm going to just bring in a sentiment card that will just hold that space, fill that space, whereas this will be my day 19. So I think this is probably going to be something unrelated, just something pretty and a nice festive sentiment over there. Yeah, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you very soon with day 20. Bye for now.